I'm Stacy. Welcome to the kitchen of my old Kentucky home. Today on Bourbon and Biscuits, we're going to be making a southern summer staple, fried green tomatoes. And Jessica is going to pair it with a refreshing bourbon cocktail. Let's get started. For our fried green tomatoes, we'll need 4 unripe tomatoes, a cup of cornmeal, garlic, paprika, salt, pepper, and some bacon grease. So there is nothing better than a bite of that first vine-ripened tomato of the summer. But sometimes that can take a while in Louisville summers, so you can always start eating your tomatoes when they are green, and this is our favorite way to do it here, frying them up. So what we're gonna do is, first of all, just slice individual slices, cut the ends off, and we're looking for about a 1/4 inch thick. And these are rock hard, but they will fry up nicely. So we have enough slices ready for our first batch, so let's get started in the next step. And we're gonna simply season them with some salt and pepper on both sides, top and bottom. And I ground this pepper this morning for the purposes of this, but you can just do this straight out of your grinder as well. Just flip them. Okay, and we have our cornmeal. You need about a cup for 4 tomatoes. You're not going to use it all, but you need enough to be able to mix this around and dredge them. And then this is just optional. I've added this over the years. It's a little garlic powder and some paprika. It gives it a little kick. So I'm just going to stir that up. And we're just going to simply dredge our slices. They have enough moisture to pick this up. You can, I've seen recipes where you can dip in milk or buttermilk first. My family just went straight to the dry cornmeal. You could almost call it a rub. So I'm gonna finish dredging all of these, and then we're gonna take this to the stove and fry these babies up in some hot bacon grease. All right, we've got our bacon grease heated up to about 350. It's starting just to smoke. That's where you want it, in this nice cast iron skillet. And we're just gonna add our slices one at a time. We're gonna let these fry up a couple of minutes. We just want them golden brown on each side. You wanna work in these small batches because you wanna give your slices some frying room. Whenever you're working with hot grease, I always think it's a good idea to use a shield. You want to check these. This has been on for about 3 minutes. So I'm just going to check the color. And yes, I think that's a perfect golden brown color. So now I'll just turn all these over and we'll finish cooking. I think these turned out a beautiful golden brown, and I'm gonna get these plated up, but I'm also gonna whip up a little dipping sauce that Jessica gave me a recipe for, which we'll talk about later. But first, let's go watch her make a bourbon cocktail.
Today we're gonna make a bit more of a fruit-forward cocktail than we usually do, because I think it'll pair really nicely with the fried green tomatoes. And I've dubbed this one the Louisville Belle. So we're gonna use Kentucky bourbon, cranberry juice, fresh squeezed lemon juice, fresh squeezed lime juice, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. All right, so I've already got ice in my cocktail shaker, and I'm gonna go ahead and pour in 2 ounces of the bourbon. Today we're using Jefferson's Reserve. Also gonna use 2 ounces of the cranberry juice. And like we've said before, you're always gonna use a shaker when you're using fresh fruit juice. And I always say shake it to wake it is how you know if you wanna shake your cocktail. And here's my lemon and lime juice that I've already squeezed. And we're gonna go ahead and put in that teaspoon of sugar as well. And just give this a good shake. And we're just gonna serve this up in a martini glass. nice pinkish red color, which is a little bit reminiscent of the paddle wheel on the Belle of Louisville. So that's how we kind of landed on this name. So there you have it, the Belle of Louisville.
Jessica, I think your sauce recipe really pairs nicely with this. I didn't want to do the traditional remoulade since we just had that with the chicken livers that we did recently. I like the flavor of this.
Yeah, this pretty much goes with anything, and it's real simple. It's just mayo, cumin, chili powder, and I usually use Tabasco sauce, but any hot sauce. And this recipe actually kind of has a history with my family. We actually call it Jessica's sauce because I've been making it since maybe I was like 5. But it was based off of this recipe from a restaurant called Myra's that used to exist. Well, and actually 2 of my uncles worked there.
Oh, cool.
But when they closed, they didn't have the recipe for this, so my mom and I and the family, we kind of just concocted what we thought was a close approximation. And so we've been making it ever since.
I love that. Finally, you have a touching family story, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a line from a bluegrass song that I love, that there's nothing better than true love and homegrown tomatoes.
Well, cheers to that.
We'll see you next time on Bourbon and Biscuits.
Cheers.